My heart was hammering against my ribs, and the room felt like it was closing in. This was my daily 10 a.m. panic attack, right on schedule. It was a familiar, unwelcome guest, one that had overstayed its welcome by about 10 years. For so long, I was convinced I was just broken. I felt like I was at war with my own mind, and honestly, I was losing badly. I tried everything to fix my anxiety: therapy, meditation, breathing exercises, you name it. And while some things gave me a little temporary relief, nothing ever really stuck. The anxiety always came roaring back, sometimes even worse than before. I was pretty much convinced this was just going to be my life. A life lived in a constant state of low-grade fear, with occasional moments of sheer terror. But it turns out, the solution wasn't some huge, dramatic gesture or a magic pill. It was a tiny, almost insignificant change to the first 20 minutes of my day that ended up changing everything. It was a change so simple, I almost laughed it off. But I'm so glad I didn't, because that one small shift started a domino effect that completely transformed my mental health. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly what it was and how it worked. To really get why this one change was so powerful, you have to understand what my life was like before. On the outside, most people probably thought I was doing just fine. I had what you might call high-functioning anxiety. I held down a job, I had friends, I went through all the motions of a normal life. But on the inside, it was a totally different story. My inner monologue was just a relentless bully. Every single conversation became a post-game analysis of all the dumb things I thought I said. Every work project was a premeditation on all the ways I was probably going to fail. And the physical symptoms? They were my constant companions. The tight chest, the shallow breathing, that persistent feeling of dread that just sat in my stomach like a lead weight. I was exhausted all the time. Not just tired, but that soul-deep kind of weary that comes from constantly pretending you're okay. I was living in a prison I'd built myself, and the walls were made of what-ifs. What if I have a panic attack in this meeting? What if they all think I'm an idiot? What if I never, ever get better? So, I did what anyone would do. I tried to fix it. I read every self-help book I could get my hands on. Friends would tell me to just relax or breathe, and I'd just want to scream. I tried meditation, but sitting still with my own thoughts felt like locking myself in a room with my worst enemy. I saw a therapist, and while talking helped, the anxiety would just be waiting for me in the car when I left. I even thought about medication, but I was scared of the side effects, scared of feeling even less like myself. Each time something didn't work, it just proved that little voice in my head right. I was a hopeless case. My world got smaller and smaller. I started dodging social events, turning down cool opportunities, and just isolating myself because it was easier than facing the fear. I was surviving, but I definitely wasn't living. And I was getting desperate. The turning point wasn't some dramatic, movie-style epiphany. It was a quiet moment of pure desperation on a Tuesday morning. I'd spent another night tossing and turning, my mind already racing with the day's anxieties before my eyes were even open. I was so tired of being tired. I was so tired of being scared. And I just thought, something has to give. I can't do this anymore. I'd read somewhere about the power of a morning routine, but I always dismissed it. My mornings were a mess, just me hitting the snooze button 5 times before scrolling through my phone, which would instantly flood my brain with a fresh dose of news-fueled dread and social media comparison. But on this day, I decided to try something different, something small. The one thing was this: before I checked my phone, before I even thought about coffee, I would put on my running shoes, go outside, and move my body for just 20 minutes. Not an intense, punishing workout, just a walk or a light jog, rain or shine. No excuses. I know, it sounds almost ridiculously simple, right? That was it. That was the one change. I honestly didn't think it would work. It felt way too small to fight something so big. But I made a deal with myself. I would do it for 1 week. Just 1 week of moving my body before my brain had a chance to start its daily terror campaign. The first day was awful. I really didn't want to do it. It was cold, but I did it. And the next day, I did it again, and slowly, so slowly I almost didn't notice it at first, something started to shift. That one simple decision set off a chain reaction of positive changes. A domino effect that I now get is actually backed by science. This wasn't just about clearing my head. It was a complete chemical and psychological reset. Domino number 1, the cortisol correction. First things first, biology. A lot of people with anxiety get a huge spike in the stress hormone cortisol right when they wake up. This is what was kicking off my 10 a.m. panic attacks. It was like starting my day with my body already in fight or flight mode. But when I started moving in the morning, I was giving that cortisol a job to do. Exercise is a type of physical stress, sure, but it's stress with a purpose. It teaches your body how to handle that cortisol spike and then bring it back down, helping your whole system get back into a healthy rhythm. Instead of letting that stress hormone run wild in my head, I was burning it off as physical energy. After a few days, that familiar morning dread started to fade. The 10 a.m. panic attacks just stopped showing up. For the first time in years, my body actually felt calm in the morning. Domino number 2, the neurochemical cocktail. That morning movement was also literally changing my brain chemistry. Physical activity gets your brain to produce more good stuff like serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins. They're called the feel-good chemicals for a reason. They're natural mood lifters and anxiety reducers. So basically, by going for that morning jog, it felt like I was giving myself a dose of the world's most powerful antidepressant, all natural and side effect free. Research has shown that exercising outside, specifically, is a huge mood booster. The mix of natural light and moving your body just has this uniquely calming effect. I started my day feeling not just less anxious, but genuinely happier and more ready to handle things. Domino number 3, the victory mindset. The psychological shift was just as huge. Anxiety had me convinced that I was powerless. My days just felt like a list of things to survive. But by making myself get out that door every single morning, I was starting my day with a win. It was a small win, for sure, but it was a win. This tiny act of discipline sent a huge message to my brain. I am in control. I can do hard things. This simple habit started to build back the self-esteem that anxiety had chipped away for years. And that confidence started to spill over into the rest of my life. A tough email at work didn't seem so scary. A social plan didn't feel like a threat. I had already won the first and most important battle of the day, the one against myself. Domino number 4, the keystone habit. This morning run became what experts call a keystone habit. That's basically one core habit that kicks off a bunch of other good habits. Because I started my day feeling better, I started making better choices all day long. I had more energy, so I got more done at work. I started sleeping better because my body was physically tired and the morning light was fixing my internal clock. Better sleep meant an even better mood the next day. I even started eating better, not because I felt like I had to, but because I wanted to fuel my body for my morning runs. This one small habit lifted up my entire foundation of well-being. It's been 2 years since I made that one simple change, and my life today is almost unrecognizable. My mornings no longer start with a hammering heart and a wave of dread. They start with the sound of my feet on the pavement, the feeling of cool morning air, and a quiet sense of peace. I haven't had a full-blown panic attack in over a year. The constant, buzzing anxiety is gone. Now, that doesn't mean I never feel worried or stressed. That's just being human. But it doesn't control me anymore. Fear is no longer the filter I see the world through. I feel present in my own life. I can actually enjoy a conversation without obsessively picking apart every word I said. I can take on new projects at work with excitement instead of terror. My world, which had become so incredibly small, has opened all the way back up. This one change, this simple act of moving my body outside for 20 minutes every morning, gave me my life back. It taught me that we don't have to make massive, life-altering changes to see incredible results. Sometimes, the biggest transformation starts with the smallest step. And that's my story. I wanted to share it because I know how hopeless it feels to be stuck in that anxiety loop. I know what it's like to feel broken, but I also know that change is possible. And I know that you have the power to make that change happen. So now, I want to hear from you. What's one small thing, a habit, a mindset shift, anything that has made a real difference for your mental health? Please share it in the comments below. Your story, your one piece of advice, might be the exact thing someone else needs to read today to start their own journey. Let's create a resource for each other. And if this story connected with you, think about subscribing to join a community of people trying to build better, calmer lives, one small change at a time. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's this: you are not broken and you are not alone. Beating anxiety isn't about fighting a war with your mind. It's about gently and consistently giving your mind and body what they need to find their balance. It's about finding that one small, doable anchor, that one keystone habit, and trusting that it can pull you forward into the life you deserve. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. Start small, be patient with yourself, and just keep moving forward. You've got this.